Jesus once said a sentence that stopped a room full of people cold. In heaven, there is no marriage. If you have ever loved a husband or a wife with your whole heart, if you've stood at a hospital bed or a grave, or you're simply lying awake tonight wondering what happens to that love when this life ends, that sentence can feel like a door slamming shut. But stay with me, because what Jesus revealed that day was not the death of love. It was the beginning of something your marriage was designed to point toward all along. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what happens to the love between a husband and wife in eternity, and why the true answer is not a loss to grieve, but a hope strong enough to hold you through every goodbye this life will ever ask of you. 1. The question every grieving heart has asked. Somewhere tonight, a widow is folding her husband's shirts, still hanging in his closet, months or years after the funeral. Somewhere, a widower is setting the table for one, staring at the empty chair across from him. Somewhere, a young couple, deeply in love, is quietly afraid to even ask the question out loud. If one of us dies first, will we still belong to each other in heaven? This is not a small question. This is one of the deepest longings of the human heart, because real love does not want to be temporary. When God joins two hearts together, something inside us cries out, "Let this last forever." So when we read Jesus' words about there being no marriage in heaven, it can feel like a wound. But I want you to know something before we go any further. God is not in the business of taking away what is precious to you. He is in the business of perfecting it. 2. What Jesus actually said. Let's look directly at the passage. In Matthew 22, a group of religious leaders came to Jesus with a trick question. They described a woman who, according to an old law, was married to 7 brothers, one after another, as each one died. Then they asked, almost mockingly, whose wife she would be in the resurrection, since all 7 had been married to her. Jesus' answer changed everything. He told them plainly that they didn't understand the scriptures or the power of God, and that at the resurrection, people neither marry nor are given in marriage. They will be like the angels in heaven. Matthew 22:29-30. Now notice what Jesus did not say. He did not say, "You will not know each other." He did not say, "The love you shared will be erased." He said the institution of marriage, as we know it here, will not continue in the same form in eternity. Why? Because marriage on earth serves specific purposes: companionship, covenant faithfulness, a picture of exclusive love, even the continuation of the human family. In heaven, those earthly purposes are already fulfilled. There is no more death to guard against. There is no more loneliness that one spouse alone must fill, because we will be in the full, unbroken presence of God and the whole family of believers, forever. So marriage as a legal and exclusive covenant ends. But that is a completely different question from, will the love be gone? 3. Does this mean love dies? Here is where so many hearts misunderstand this teaching, and I want to bring you comfort right now. The Bible tells us plainly what happens to real love. Paul writes in 1 Corinthians 13:8 that love never fails. Not love fades. Not love ends when the covenant ends. Love never fails. Think about this practically. You don't love your mother because a legal document requires it. You don't love your childhood best friend because of a covenant ceremony. That love simply exists, and it doesn't need an earthly institution to survive. In the same way, the deep sacrificial love you built with your husband or wife over years of shared life, the inside jokes, the way they held your hand through hard seasons, the memories only the two of you carry, that bond of the heart does not need marriage to remain real. What ends is the exclusive legal covenant, because in heaven we won't need exclusivity to feel loved. We won't need one primary relationship to fill the ache of loneliness, because we will be fully known and fully loved by God Himself, surrounded by every soul we have ever loved, all loving each other with a perfected love that never runs out, never grows jealous, and never says not enough time. Your love will not be smaller in heaven. It will be free from every fear that made it smaller on earth. 4. Your marriage was always pointing to something greater. Here's something beautiful that many believers miss. Earthly marriage was never meant to be the final destination. It was meant to be a signpost. In Ephesians 5, Paul describes the relationship between a husband and wife, and then says something remarkable. He compares it directly to Christ and his church, calling it a profound mystery that ultimately points to that greater relationship. Ephesians 5:31-32. That means your marriage. Every act of sacrifice, every moment of forgiveness, every time you chose to love when it was hard, was practice. It was a living picture of the greater love story God is writing, Christ giving himself completely for his bride, the church. And in Revelation 19, we're given a glimpse of the true wedding the whole universe has been waiting for. The marriage supper of the Lamb, Revelation 19:9. That is the marriage that never ends. That is the covenant with no till death do us part, because death itself will be gone forever. So if you're grieving a spouse tonight, hear this gently. Your earthly marriage was never the whole story. It was a beautiful, sacred chapter inside a much bigger love story that God is still writing. And that story does not end at the grave. 5. What you will actually have in eternity. So let's bring this all together. What will you actually experience? Revelation 21:4 gives us this promise. God will wipe away every tear, and there will be no more death, mourning, crying, or pain. The old order of things will have passed away. No more mourning, no more separation. No more standing at a grave, wondering if love survives. You will see your loved one again, not as a stranger, but as someone fully known, fully healed, fully whole. And instead of a love limited to one person for one lifetime, you will experience a love multiplied, perfected, unthreatened, and unending, shared with everyone God has ever redeemed. Paul comforts the Thessalonian church with the promise that believers who have died are not lost, and that one day we will be reunited with them. And he tells the church plainly to encourage one another with these words, 1 Thessalonians 4:18. That's not a small thing. That's a command wrapped in comfort. You are allowed to grieve. You are allowed to miss the sound of their voice, but you don't have to grieve as one with no hope. Because eternity is not the end of love. It is love finally without limits. If you are married right now, let this truth change how you love your spouse today. Don't wait for heaven to love without fear. Practice now the kind of love that will exist there. Patient, selfless, forgiving, free. And if you have lost someone you loved with your whole life, hold on to this. The love was never wasted. It was preparing you for a love that will never leave, and a reunion that will never end. If this message brought you comfort today, I want to hear from you. Write in the comments below, what does this truth about heaven mean to you right now? Are you believing God for reunion, for healing, or for hope in a season of grief? Don't carry that alone. Share it below, and let's encourage each other the way Scripture calls us to. And if you take one thing from this video, let it be this. Trust God with the people you love. He has not forgotten a single tear, a single goodbye, a single prayer whispered in the dark. Reflect on His promises this week and take one step in faith today, whether that's loving your spouse a little more gently tonight or simply telling God, I trust you with the ones I love. Because heaven is not the end of love. It's where love finally becomes everything it was always meant to be.